Hey guys, SlySonic7 back again, and this week we're going to take a look at a different game actually. We're here on NBA 2K15 under my profile. As you can see in the top right, my PlayStation 4 username is Blueberry210. Please feel free to add if you want to play any of that, always down to. So today we're going to take a look actually at the NBA Finals here. So we have the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Golden State Warriors, and we're going to take a look at what could have happened if the Cavs were healthy. I know this is a completely BS video, and to anyone this annoys, I apologize. I'm just doing it for fun, so here we go. Okay, so in this scenario here, the Cavs have a healthy Kyrie Irving and a healthy Kevin Love, and we're about to show why they would just dominate the Warriors. Take an Iggy. Iggy can't handle this. I'm LeBron! Alright, so basically, to get some context here, first of all, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors, NBA champs. That's an achievement that very few can ever get, and they definitely deserve it for the season. Throughout the entire season, they were definitely the best team. Oh my god, 2 dunks in a row for LeBron. And when it mattered, they had everything go the right way. And I can't be mad at that. That's just how the luck of a championship goes sometimes, is that they were the most healthy team, and they all performed the best that they could at the time. So to them, I do want to say, truly, as this is meant to be just a video to just be making like a funny alternative idea, I do want to say congratulations, and that they definitely deserve it. But now, for the rest of this game, we're just going to be shit-talking them the entire time, because, you know, that's what's funny. Kyrie missed that. Oh, never mind. So, as I look back on this final, first of all, 2 things that were really shocking to me was, one, that while Curry had his moments, he definitely didn't seem to be as huge as I was expecting to be. Like, I don't know, for some reason I was just kind of expecting him to be the guy who would score like 30 a game and just make it look very easy, kind of carry the team when they need it. And this is more of a compliment to the team than anything, but it just seems like when they needed big plays, it didn't always come from him. It came from like everyone. And I know that's the sign of a very good team, but I want to say I think it was very interesting how he didn't seem to really own the moment in the same way that, like, you know, a Kobe would always take the shot, or, you know, Jordan used to, or things like that. And I mean, that's okay. Like, I don't think anyone's trying to be saying that Stephen Curry should be in the conversation for those best player ever things. And I mean, if they ever are, I think that, first of all, that's a little bit too early. But second of all, I think, you know, when all's said and done, it won't really apply. But I don't know. It's just like, it just felt to me like it was such a well-rounded team against what was, frankly, just such an injured, battered down team. And I guess what I wanted to do with this idea is just that I was talking to some friends, and all I could think the entire time was just that, for as close as this series was seeming, I just had to feel that having Kyrie and Kevin Love in that series would have helped. I mean, and look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just like the defense that Dellavedova played on Curry, like, you know, Kyrie couldn't have like matched that, so it just would have been like a huge mismatch. Okay, let's post him. There we go. Or like the, you know, like whatever Kevin Love could bring in rebounding, he would lose in like interior defense. So like Mozgov is definitely a better person there. It's like, I get how both sides can apply to that, and I'm definitely not going to say like one side is right or wrong there. But that's a bad shot. I don't know. I just have to feel that a healthy team would have made this series a bit more competitive. So this is just my funny attempt just to see what that would go like. So as we take stock right now, LeBron has 10 points and 2 assists since Mozgov just made that. No rebounds. So we're a bit off that 12 he was averaging for the series. The complete, pure motivation of this video is to see what kind of ridiculous stats I could put up with LeBron in this scenario. So, if it seems like I'm ball hogging, I am. I think the thing that, frankly, was like a little bit like the most sad to me though was it felt like it was one of the scenarios where LeBron, you know, you felt like he could have possibly won the series. And I say this, you know, for the first 3 games, and it just didn't happen after. For the first 2 games, it felt close. And I don't know, it's just like, I know things didn't turn out that way, and that's just the way that things are, but I guess it's one of those series where you kind of think to yourself, like, how it's going to affect someone's all-time status. I don't think the series loss hurts LeBron's legacy. And the fact that, like, I think people look at this and say, look, he was playing without 2 All-Stars, you know, you're playing against the best team in the league, you still took 2 games for them, like, all that. But I think there is going to be that ultimate kind of what-if to say, like, what if he had won that series essentially without any, like, major, like, supporting help? Just because, I don't know, it's like, it's never happened before, so it'd be kind of cool, but also, when I think of his all-time status, I think LeBron is pretty securely right now a top 8 player in NBA history. I know people can debate that claim, obviously, but I think in some order, and these are just people who would be above him, I think some people who are above, oh, that's terrible. Andy Varejao did something before he pops his Achilles. I think if you look all-time, I think you have Jordan is number 1. I think people always agree on that. I think after that, people disagree. My personal number 2 is Bill Russell. People can say whatever they want about the era and all that, but 11 championships in 13 seasons, that kind of like will to win and just like amazing competitive fire that it has, I just feel like you can't knock that. Like, that's just so good. Uh-oh. Alright. First quarter, down, we're up by 7. Looking good so far. I want to say that number 3 is Kareem. I think if you take in the mix of everything, so Kareem had the most unstoppable shot in NBA history with the skyhook. I don't think that's even up for debate. I think that's just like an accepted fact, and one. Most unstoppable shot, but on top of that too, it's just like, nice. He's not one-dimensional at all. He can do a lot of things out there. Tristan Thompson, a really nice hustle player. I think the most impressive thing about Kareem, besides the shot and then also the career scoring record, which in itself is just amazing to score over 38,000 career points. I don't know. I don't think we're going to see a player do that for a while. That's just crazy to me. The most impressive thing to me is actually this one stat that I saw a while ago, is that he won Finals MVPs 15 years apart, I want to say, which is the longest stretch ever. Wow, I can't hit a 3 with LeBron. That's actually pretty accurate, I guess. Because he won the Finals, I want to say like his 2nd year or something, with the Milwaukee Bucks. And then he wins in 1985 or something with the Lakers. And it's just like, to have that kind of a stretch and still be a final... Oh, what was that pass? Still be a Finals MVP. I think that just speaks, first of all, not even just to, like, you know, the amazingness of the player, but just like the longevity to like stay that good for so long, which, frankly, for me, will just always be one of the biggest factors. Is that, you know, can you be good? And I think, like, you know, I agree with people who say like a peak of 4 years is better than, you know, a high peak of 4 years is better than a low peak of 10 years. Like, I get that. But if a guy can have a high peak for 15 years, where you can be at a Finals MVP level, and not only that, but just being a quality contributor, stop turning the ball over, I think it's amazing. I think that kind of longevity just isn't something you're ever going to see again. I think there's a reason why they call him an alien. He's just not of this earth. He's ridiculous. And I think it's the same reason why people call Tim Duncan an alien right now. It's just like, to be able to do what he does at 38, 39 is, I mean, frankly, just unbelievable. Okay, so that's my number 3. My number 4 is Magic Johnson. Just because I think if you take everything into account, I think people can always disagree on what they think, but I think objectively, he won. Oh, take that, come on. Oh my God, I can't get a shot right now. He won the rivalry with Bird. His Lakers won more championships, and I know that's not always the best way to say who wins, but like when they were playing each other each year, and it's like, you know, one person can have so much of an impact. Magic's teams won more than Bird's, and it's like, you know, I think also the other thing if we're really going to talk about Magic is just that I think there's something to be said for kind of ushering in a new age of basketball, and the fact that like what Larry Bird did was amazing, and just majestic and just so beautiful, frankly. Oh my God, Kyrie can't miss. For how he could just make shots, he always made the play when he needed to, all that, and there was that kind of like old age toughness to him. Magic was Showtime. Like he was that high flying, just fun to watch basketball that I think really grew a lot of interest in the game. And I mean, frankly, he also, you could tell he played significantly better in the playoffs than he ever did in the regular season, which to me is an amazing stat because they show this. There's the stats for playoff assists. Kyrie! Oh, okay. The playoff assists. Magic for regular season, I want to say, has like the second most assists of all time or something like that. Like he was just superb, obviously. But if you take a look at the playoffs, though, not only is he first all time in playoff assists, but it's not even close. Like he's beaten out John Stockton, who's the king of assists, by like I want to say close to like 800 assists, like some just ridiculously bonkers number. He just, I don't know, like there was something about him in the playoffs that like you felt like from the second he was a rookie that like he was a guy you could always rely on for your team. And I don't know, it's like there's that thing to me that's just like get in, woohoo! But I think that if I were having a team and I had to ask myself who I'd want to build it around for not only what they could do for the team, but also, just in big moments. And, like, I know this would be, like, a bad argument because I think when people think about a Bird is much more clutch in the big moment than Magic was. But I think if you want to talk about everything, like who could fit better with more teams, who could do more for his teammates, all that, I have to take Magic over Bird. And number 5 for me is Larry Bird. Oh God. I mean, Larry the Legend. He's just fantastic. Oh God, I love that wide open. Kevin Love defense right there, guys. I think there's something to be said for just how long he kind of kept down the other forces in the East that was really competitive at the time. So the bad boy Pistons, coming back from 3-1 down in the playoff series against them, kind of keeping Jordan in his place until, Larry was just too old to do anything about it. There I just outsped Iguodala. Oh my God, he got up high. There was that point where you could tell, like, more than anything, it was personal to him. They're like, this was his, kingdom, his domain, and he was going to make sure that he controlled it. I don't know what just happened to LeBron there. LeBron, get it. Okay. I like how there's no sideline cameras here, so LeBron can't cut his head like in the finals. But I think that, there's just so many moments. Like, for instance, it's mentioned the Pistons series again. Different year. And there was a play kind of like this, actually. Isaiah's inbounding it, throws it to what he thinks is a wide-open Joe Dumars, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Larry's got the ball. Larry's got the ball. And he passes it. Just beautiful, no-look kind of bounce pass there. Hits the guy, gets the layup. And next thing you know, Celtics win the series. And it's just kind of moments where, like, I think the most amazing thing that oh, no. God damn. I meant to alley-oop it, and then I ended up trying to shoot it. There we go. The most amazing thing that I had heard, actually, is that Larry Bird, for, as good as he is, was not an athletic dude. Who's a little bit lumbering, and he didn't have that kind of amazing quickness. But the thing that you always hear ex-NBA players say is that when it mattered, Larry was as fast as anyone on the court. And I know that physically that isn't true, but the idea that, like, anytime that it mattered more than, like, anything else, like, he was a guy who always give you 110% and always find a way to make those plays. And 3 rings, 3 MVPs, one of only, I want to say, 3 or 4 players ever to win MVPs in back-to-back-to-back years. Something that LeBron hasn't done, that Jordan hasn't done. Steve Nash got robbed out of it by Nowitzki, but you know that's a different conversation. Nash probably shouldn't have gotten the first two anyways, but since he did, he definitely outplayed Nowitzki in the third year. But it's just like, I think when it's all said and done, he may have less championships than Duncan or Kobe, but I just feel that if you want to talk about it, he's more clutch than Kobe is, and I just feel that he was just so unique that I can support the argument of putting him over Duncan. Oh my God. What was that? Get out of here, Barbosa. Oof. LeBron ducks his head to not hit it.
Oh, that one had it all, guys. Power and grace. Just beautiful. The Warriors last season voted the most fun team.
To that point, though, I mean, so if we want to continue really quick, I know that there's no way to really kind of tell these guys apart, but so here's where I think everyone gets into the big argument is that foul. Cool. When you look at the next guys, and I'm just going to say this is a set of three, just because I think that ultimately one of them will have to be remembered above the rest. And I don't know who that will be or how that will be, but just saying, like, you know, this is a comparison, is that the next three guys on my list are Kobe, Duncan, and LeBron. The only person who I have heard people put above this, like put above them potentially, and I don't agree with it, is Wilt. Wilt has the same kind of negative bias that Bill Russell would have. The biggest difference is that Wilt did not have nearly the same amount of success. And dunk it! Sweet. Sorry. I would just argue that that makes the biggest difference to me, is that Wilt was all about individual statistics, and Wilt it did not translate into team success. Wilt won, I want to say 2 championships? Yeah, 2. He won the 72 with the Lakers, and I want to say one other. I forget which other. But, oh, almost and one. We really just laid it on in this quarter. Jesus. This was an 8-point game at halftime. We're up by 24. This is Hall of Fame difficulty, too. We're shutting them down. Anyways, the biggest reason why he actually never fouled out, though, is because whenever he got his 5th foul, he actually stopped playing defense because he officially never wanted to foul out. He knew this. He knew whenever he had it, and he always told himself that, like, he never wanted to foul out, so he stopped playing defense with 5 fouls. And to me, that's something that I will just never, ever be okay with, because frankly, if you have 5 fouls, but a guy's coming down the lane, he's about to get a layup, you think you can block it. I don't care the situation. You have to try to block that to help your team. The accounts from Russell, because for those who don't really know, I guess it's fair because it's the 1960s. The thing is that Bill Russell was known as very much like a defensive stalwart. You know, like he was a guy who would get tons of blocks, lots of rebounds, but not, you know, really tons of points. So, oh god, what Russell used to say was that Russell, he would always say that whenever he played Wilt, he would, you know, go through the game, he wouldn't have that many points, and then all of a sudden Wilt would pick up his 5th foul, and Russell knew he could just drop 25 points in a quarter on him because Wilt, he said, Wilt would never cover me. I would drive down the lane at Wilt, and Wilt would just stand there and let me score because he didn't want to foul out. And when you give up that much of a competitive advantage, that's your fault for like how it doesn't translate into team success. And to me, it undervalues what you do individually, because I think as this final shows and how people are reacting to LeBron, it doesn't matter what your stats are. It matters, there's one stat people care about: winning and losing, and that's it. And I just, you know, to me it undervalues it. So anyways, now that I've clarified that, let's go back to the main argument here, is that there are, nice block shot, there are 3 people who I'm putting in this range, right? So Kobe, Duncan, LeBron. And I can accept any and all arguments here. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to make all of them, just because we have a bit more game time left. So argument for Kobe is that Kobe played in a much
harder team environment than Duncan, had to do more of it by himself, has been to 7 finals, which is 1 more than Duncan. Even though he's won the same number, has actually gotten to 7. All the scoring titles, statistically, he's just done a lot more for his position, I would say. And then also, I mean, he just has certain things that make it very special, like the 81-point game. I mean, there's just like a few of them, you know, just buzzer beaters because he's always the one who wants to take the shot, things like that. Like, and I get it, like that can definitely make a very lasting impact. I think the argument for Duncan is, I think it's an obvious one that a lot of people make, is that he's led the, frankly, most dominant dynasty in NBA history, if you want to talk about overall success for the length of time that they had it. There's never been a team like the Spurs. Even Jordan's Bulls had all those off years, first of all, before and after, and the real run of dominance was 8 years. You know, because if you think about the 91 until the 98 finals, you know, you have those 8 years of like real dominance. Duncan won his first championship in 1999, and they were defending their championship in 2015. That's 16 years of being there, and 17 years, actually, if you want to count their first year, of making the playoffs. That has never happened from one play. First of all, to have the longevity to be there 17 years later and like be a major factor is unbelievable. But second of all, it's like to still be a reason why your team is winning and being successful, and leading to that kind of dominance where every single season they've won 50 games since he's been a pro. The one year they didn't was a lockout season when there were 66 games, and they won, you know, the same winning percentage as winning 50 games. So technically, this still counts. That kind of dominance, I think, just can help put the guy over the top, especially when you're talking about the idea, like, you know, he was a 2-time league MVP, a 3 times finals MVP, frankly, just so many other statistics. So, like, he leads the NBA in career playoff blocks. He's one of the top 10 rebounders of all time. He's one of the top 20 scorers of all time. And it's just like, for everything that he does so well, and like, especially just the fact that, you know, everything he does, he can keep doing. Like, frankly, I think Tim Duncan can keep playing until he's 44 if he wants to. Just like, he's gotten to a point where he's so good, he doesn't need to be athletic to do it. He just needs to be smarter than people. And he's going to keep being smarter than people. You saw it this year. Blake Griffin covering him in the first round. It's like, all of a sudden, like, you know, Timmy just gives him a shake once, shake two, and just like spins left, hooks it right off the backboard. It's like, you watch Blake and DeAndre, they're supposed to be like much more athletic than Tim. Frankly, just wondering what the hell can we do to stop this guy. And it's like, they're not talking about some like 25-year-old who's in the prime of his career. They're talking about a 39-year-old who has a brace on his left leg to straighten his knee so he can run. Like, his left knee actually does not work. He has to straighten it and drag it around like a stiff leg. And he's still doing that. That's amazing. Okay, so we've done the argument for both of them. Now let me give the argument that I have for LeBron. And it's, frankly, this, is that I think there has not been a player in this generation who can just do everything. Like, airball this, apparently. Oh god, that was bad. Who can just do everything for a team, like LeBron can. I think if you mix everything, you mix the idea of, like, when you need defense, he can get it. Like, he covers the team's best player in crunch time, like, when it matters. I know it's not during the regular season, but during the playoffs. He can get you the buckets when you need them. He facilitates to his teammates. It's like, he does everything you need. And the fact is, like, at this point, he's going, as long as, you know, he continues his career without injuries, which is, you know, is a huge knock on wood, but, like, for all our sakes, let's hope that happens just because, you know, we deserve to see the most of it we can. Like, if he can do that, he's going to finish with more points than Kobe. He's going to finish with close to 10,000 assists, which, to put that in perspective, only 4 point guards in history have ever done that. Like, Only 4 people ever have done that. They're all point guards. And he's a small forward. He has no business being there. Unbelievable. But then also, it's the fact that, like, everything combined, like, he'll finish with the greatest playoff stats of all time, if you want to, not like per game, but just overall. He'll finish with an unbelievable amount of wins, everything like that. And his career is still going. Is the biggest difference between, like, Duncan, Kobe, and him, is that he can still make more. And, like, I don't think he has to get 5 titles to be better than Kobe or be better than Duncan. But, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. But the exact same point, it's like, I think he's going to have more chances to win his titles. And I think if he could get to 4, I put him ahead of Kobe and Duncan, and I put him ahead of Bird. And I say LeBron is the 5th best player to ever play basketball. You can make an argument to me that he'd pass Magic, but that's for another time. But for today, we had a rematch. Full team. Too much for the Warriors to stop. LeBron was the Jordan player of the game. That's funny. With 48 points. 3 assists and 4 rebounds. All right. So, just taking a look really quick. Guys, thank you so much for watching. 21 for 33. Nice game. This was a lot of fun, actually, doing a kind of different video where I'm just kind of like talking about sports, giving my own personal opinion. I think that's my real passion for these games is I love sports so much. So like anytime I can talk about it, it's a lot of fun. So let me know if you guys like this idea, kind of where I'm playing just live commentating on like how I think players are, things like that. I'd be more than happy to do it for Madden, MLB 15, FIFA. I can do whatever. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. I look forward to doing more of these, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please subscribe.